I think we have enough data with the Model Y fleet to start making some assumptions and some forward-looking statements, let's say, around Tesla's robotaxi model, Tesla's self-driving capability, and what's that likely going to do to the broader fleet of Teslas. I don't want any of this to be financial or investment advice. This is purely me just sitting down and just talking my mind to an audience that I know is interested in this and is also thinking about this equation. But it really does feel like FSD-V14 has the company at its most important juncture yet, at its most important point that we've seen really since the initial release of the Model 3, which took the company from a small potatoes specialized auto manufacturer with the S and the X to a mass market vehicle maker, which helped the company more than 20x its valuation on the stock market, at least from a market cap perspective. The reason why that happened back then was because there was an awakening, let's say, an agreement upon all the investors, Wall Street, retail investors. Everybody agreed that Tesla is no longer a niche automaker, they're a mass market automaker, and they're going to be equipped to severely disrupt the broader auto market by bringing in not just electric vehicles that work, but affordable electric vehicles that people will want to buy. And of course, we've seen the sales of the company increase massively over the years. They've stagnated here in the last couple of years, but we're talking about a car company that went from selling roughly 50,000 cars per year to 2 million cars per year. And now we're at the point where the cheapest model from Tesla, the Model 3, if you compare the Model 3's capabilities to one of Tesla's earliest cars, the Model S back in 2012, 2013, the amount of progress the company has made in lowering costs when it comes to their actual drivetrain and the car themselves are honestly, truly astonishing. But this was part of the initial master plan for the company, is to get cars to be truly affordable, but not just affordable, cars that people want. Even though the current Model 3, which starts at around 38, is perhaps not as aggressive as where a lot of people would want the company to be from a pricing perspective with their lowest models, myself included, there's still no doubt that the company has made gigantic steps in bringing affordable mass market vehicles to the masses. But believe it or not, the autonomy piece, this thing that Tesla looks like they've solved, again, not financial or investment advice, from my perspective, it looks like they have solved unsupervised self-driving. Of course, they have to fix the stuff around the edges. They have to have the data to back it up. They have to do millions, if not billions of miles with these new stacks, these validated new stacks with their rounded edges taken off to really prove it to themselves and regulators that this is really ready for prime time. But what this basically means is two things, with the assumption that it truly is unsupervised self-driving. Number one, existing Tesla owners that have a Tesla car that is capable of this performance, right now Hardware 4 vehicles, Tesla said they will upgrade Hardware 3 vehicles for people who have purchased FSD to be able to do unsupervised, and Tesla owners should make sure to hold the company accountable for that, because that's a very important thing the company has to do. But with the assumption that they will do that, because they said they would do that, you're going to have a fleet of millions of vehicles on the road. Let's call it somewhere between 3 to 4 million vehicles across the entire world, perhaps a little bit more, that will receive a software update where people no longer have to pay attention in their vehicles to go from point A to point B. Right now in this Cybertruck, I have to pay attention because the software requires me to pay attention. It's called supervised. That's why I'm not just looking at the camera the whole time. I'm paying attention. I'm making sure that the truck is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and I have my feet close by, and I'm actively scanning the surroundings to make sure everything is safe for the vehicle, because ultimately I am responsible. But there's going to come a point here, in my opinion, in the next, let's say, 3 to 9 months, at the earliest by the end of the year, at the latest by middle of next year, where existing owners are going to have a vehicle where they can get in the car and they can just look at their phone and the car will just take them anywhere. It will take them from their driveway, literally, to a parking lot across the state, literally. This is not a hypothetical. Like, we're already seeing this happen. Maybe not over the distance of an entire state, but we have enough videos out there from the early innings, from the last week or so, where it's quite obvious that this is where we are as a company from Tesla's perspective. No other car company offers that capability, nowhere even close. And it doesn't take any sort of like special thing to say that. It's just a factual statement. And people who have the latest versions of FSD, even version 13 in their vehicles, outside of a handful of exceptions, they will very strongly say, not even the exceptions will say, yeah, there's no other car that can do what my car can do. Even the exceptions will say that. Perhaps it's not perfect for them in every scenario, but the average Tesla experience is like, I have a vehicle that drives me everywhere. And the V14 folks are experiencing a vehicle that not just drives them anywhere, but the reaction time of the software, the way it's able to perceive what is going to happen, is reaching not just human level, but superhuman level. I highly recommend you go check every single one of them out. If you really don't believe me, just go type version FSD V14 on YouTube or in X and just watch for yourself. Don't even watch this, just leave this video right now and go watch those. Like and subscribe before you do that though, thank you. This is a one-of-one capability. Take that and you push that forward. If you have a car where you no longer have to pay attention, with enough data and enough regulatory approval, and enough, let's say, boost of capability around the edges, perhaps from a compute perspective, or maybe Tesla says, shoot, you know what? In the off chance that hardware 4 is just not good enough, we're gonna go with hardware 5. We're at maximum one hardware upgrade away from a chip perspective for Tesla to just have robotaxi everywhere. This unsupervised thing everywhere, like truly everywhere, to the point where they're not gonna need a person in the driver's seat. If you look at Austin right now, Tesla's been running this robotaxi trial in Austin. They've expanded it multiple times. Right now, their geofence is larger than Waymo's. They have a fraction of the cars that Waymo has. They don't have as big of a clientele right now, but they do have a self-driving network in Austin where there's nobody behind the steering wheel and pedal of the vehicle, and the car is just driving people everywhere within the geofence in Austin. But the important thing here is that these cars are going to be equipped with the latest version of FSD as Tesla gets this V14 thing out there and tested by the initial group of people to validate all the things that are around it. So you're not just gonna have a group of people that all of a sudden they don't no longer have to pay attention. You're also gonna have vehicles that cost $30,000 to make that will vastly outperform a Waymo, which is another self-driving car company that's out there doing rides. Because the way Tesla has built its self-driving stack, it's reliant on the brain to make the right decisions, instead of trying to mishmash a bunch of different sensors to try and brute force a solution for self-driving. What Tesla has done for the last 7 to 8 years is that they've spent an immense amount of time, money, heartache, missed timelines, and overly optimistic rhetoric from Elon Musk, okay? To finally reach this point where a $30,000 vehicle can pull off maneuvers like going through a drive-thru, automatically waiting at the ordering kiosk, automatically moving up to the window when the conversation is done, and automatically waiting for the bag and the credit card to be, passed around and finalized, and waiting for the driver to say, thank you very much, before the car keeps going. The way Waymo is set up, it's basically impossible for them to do this because they don't have enough data from a training perspective, and they don't have the right approach to leverage that data. They don't have millions of vehicles on the road that are taking in data of Teslas going through drive-thrus, and the camera is just paying attention to what the behavior looks like between two humans talking to each other, or a human in a freaking box talking to each other, trying to place an order. Waymo doesn't have that. Why? Because they only have 1,500 vehicles, you guys. The millions of cars that Tesla has out in the world has been the mechanism to cast a very wide net of really crazy situations that then is put into a gigantic AI brain that has cost billions of dollars, at which point the AI brain will look at all this video that has been filtered and smoothed and analyze for the key things that that the vehicle has to pay attention to that mixes self-drive, and you just dump all that stuff in there, and with enough time, the AI brain is like, got it. Thank you. I have a 1 year, 4-month-old-ish, about 1.5 years now, and watching him navigate around the world, it's like such an awesome proxy for how Tesla has taught its vehicles, because I look at my son navigating the world, right? He just very recently has learned how to come down the stairs like a maniac, okay? He like puts his feet down, he plops down, and we say, feet first, and then he'll turn around, put his feet out, and just freaking like just swim down the stairs like a monster. All right, this guy's a beast. But how did he learn how to do that? He needed a lot of different tries. He needed a lot of different tries to go down the stairs. Sometimes he would go forwards, and then he would, face plant on the stair, and then he would cry, and I'd be like, oh, it's okay, buddy. And then, he would try it sideways. He would try it standing, but then he would start, like, he has some success, like, going backwards. And he's like, wait a second. His neural net, his little baby neural net's like, oh, wait, that worked. And then the next day, he just defaulted to that, but then kind of went slow. He's like, oh man, should I turn around here? Should I do this? As we reach our destination here, let me put in a different destination here. I'm gonna take us back. And then by like the 4th day, this kid is like, phew, all right? The self-driving brain works exactly the same way. But for that to work, you need a tremendous amount of data. So you need a tremendous amount of examples of the vehicles driving in crazy situations, sort of similar to a kid going down the stairs. And then you also need the brain. You need a brain that can process that information. That's what Tesla has, and that's why they are at the point now where version V14 has kind of left a lot of people like, I can't believe it's here, to be honest. Like, for somebody like myself that has been following this story for as long as I have, I freaking invested in Tesla in December of 2012, okay? I saw it go through 2 giant runs in 2013 and 2020, and 2021. I worked at the company from 2017 to 2021, and the one theme that always has me coming back to this freaking company is that they make crazy shit happen, and they're always late, and it's always a freaking chaotic experience, but they make it happen. I am here to say, again, not investment or financial advice, as FSD waits for this gate to open up, that Tesla has done it. They have figured it out. And so now, from my perspective, it's just a waiting game. It's a waiting game of, okay, when is Tesla gonna have enough data to be comfortable turning on unsupervised capability for people that have vehicles like this Cybertruck and Model Ys and Model 3s, number one. But then more importantly, number two, when are they comfortable in saying, okay, we're gonna expand Austin to be 1,000 cars. That's another thing to keep in mind here. Like, this story has so many facets and variables that it's like almost impossible to like fathom if you really think about it. Not only what I just described is fucking batshit crazy, excuse my French, they sell 2 million cars per year. This isn't some like, oh, we got some cute little deer. Oh my God, this fucking deer is about to run. Okay, and then I have to press the brake. This isn't some like $200,000 vehicle that is like the craziest thing of all time. No, it's a car that can be built for $30,000, the Model Y and the Model 3, that is doing what I just described to you. And the reason why it costs $30,000 is because Tesla has figured out how to squeeze 2 million units per year run rate of their factories that they've built in California, Texas, Berlin, China, which gives them a double advantage, which is cost and scale. And so what I think is going to happen here in the next, again, 3 to 9 months, is that as Tesla gets more and more data and grows in confidence in ensuring that this software is safe enough to let it out in the wild, we're going to see a storm of self-driving Teslas taking over metropolitan areas that approve Tesla's self-driving robotaxi network. Because you have to think about it this way. Right now, Waymo has about, let's call it 150 some odd, maybe 200 Waymos. I don't even know what the number is, honestly. Let's just say 200 Waymos. They have 200 Waymos in the city of Austin, and they have sort of this nice geofence. They kind of cover most of the city of Austin, or let's say half of the city of Austin. It's all the popular spots. It's a usable service. It's a very good service, to be honest. You have to go through Uber, which is a pain in the ass, but whatever. The experience itself is fantastic. Tesla can make the equivalent number of Waymos in Austin in like 30 minutes. If that. Somebody do the math in the comments. Pretty sure it's less than an hour. So in less than an hour's production, Tesla can just dump robotaxis in Austin. And because that AI capability that I just talked about allows them to take in so many different things that happen around the world, their ability to expand the geofence, go into places where Waymo is going to be very hard for them to do, because for them to expand their geofence, they're going to have to really, really spend a lot of time mapping and iron out these little things, you know, these little corner cases, and don't go here, but do go here, but don't go here, but do go here. It's going to be a lot easier for Tesla to get there, and they need to get there. But Tesla has a pathway to get there. Waymo doesn't have a pathway to get there. So what does that mean? Tesla, in theory, has the capability of dumping like 10,000 cars in the broader Austin metropolitan area. Let's say like a 30 to 40 mile radius. It's about 2 million people. That's about 2 days worth of production, whatever it is, 3 days, I don't even know, 10,000 cars. They make 2 million cars per year. And so that's not just an Waymo problem, that's an Uber problem. What does Uber do now? When Tesla can come into their hubs, let's say Austin, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, New York eventually, and Tesla can be like, hey, thank you very much. Here are all these self-driving cars. And because we don't have the driver to pay, we're gonna charge you half what Uber does, and Tesla gets to make money. Uber is in a horrific position when it comes to the expansion of this network. And I've talked about that many times on my channel. The reason why I made this video is because I feel like, again, personally, and not investment and financial advice, I want you to test this thesis. If you're really, you're like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Don't do anything I say. Take what I say with a grain of salt. I am a biased person when it comes to this topic, but I feel like I can come from a place of like, guys, I think it's happening, that this is an inevitability. It's not a matter of, like the matter of if, it has been so put to bed from my perspective, it's purely a matter of when. And so the question becomes when? When does Tesla remove the safety riders from the robotaxi network? When does Tesla release unsupervised self-driving for their existing fleet? When does Tesla decide to upgrade the hardware 3 cars to being capable of operating as unsupervised? Because they should, right? Because you have all these cars out there that if you don't upgrade, they're just sitting. They're not making money for you. Every car that Tesla has out on the road can make money on their behalf because any one of these vehicles could be a robotaxi. And if they're going to be a robotaxi, you damn well know Tesla's going to take a share. Of course they are. They should. Of course, right? That's a discussion now. Now, the discussion is not going to be if. I think we're way past the if point. I think the stock price, again, I think the stock price reflects that. The valuation reflects that. The market is no longer asking the question of if. The market is asking the question of when. And if you're a Tesla investor, this is probably one of the most exciting times for you of following the company, especially if you've been around for a minute, because you've been like, when the hell is this thing gonna happen? Well, soon, you know? Seems like we're there, it's just a matter of time. And knowing that a lot of you are Tesla investors, I've partnered with Rebellionaire to sponsor this video. Rebellionaire is run by Matt Smith and Bradford Ferguson. These guys are massive Tesla analysts. They've been around the game for a long time, and they have an investment firm that partners with Tesla investors to reach their financial goals. Tesla investors, usually when they have an investment firm or investing partner, they'll be like, you have way too much. Are you crazy? Are you sure you want to do this? Let's put it here. No, put it there. The guys at Rebellionaire understand the long-term thesis of the company, of the entire Musk economy, the Musk industry, because they analyze it and because they're investors themselves. These guys understand the thesis well and good. They've done cross-country FSD trips. They've done all kinds of novel analysis around the energy sector and the AI sector. So if you're tired of getting the cold shoulder from these freaking investment firms that are like, oh my God, here's another one of these crazy Musk fanboys, okay? And you're like, okay, I'm actually looking for somebody who just like is on the same page as I am. Like, we see it, we understand it, okay? And you have at least $2 million in Tesla stock, go to rebellionaire.com/Farzad, rebellionaire.com/Farzad. Make sure you use my link, and that's how those guys will know that I sent you. Thank you very much for watching this video. We're back in the Cybertruck once again. Something about the Cybertruck just driving around just gets my freaking brain in a... It's nice. I just like this format personally. Like, it's my favorite one. I can feel like I can just talk shit. I can just talk. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard to do in the studio compared to the car, but you know, it works. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. A lot of cool stuff happening in the Tesla space, and I am building a very special private community. And if you're interested in that, go to farzad.fm to sign up to be notified once this community goes live. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Love you guys. Bye.